Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Tech Help Club. Today I'm going to cover basics of FortiGate Firewall, how a user can communicate to the internet via FortiGate Firewall. So let's begin. So this is the topology I'm going to use here. So I am assuming you all have a ENG setup at your devices or machine. First of all, you have to import all the respective devices here. This is our FortiGate firewall and this is the pfsense device, which is also one of the firewall. You don't have to bother about this firewall at this moment because I am using this only for providing two WAN connections having two different subnets. You can assume this link is provided from one ISP and this link is provided from the second ISP. So both are having a different subnets, so that's why I am using it. If you don't want to use it, you can directly connect a link from your management cloud to directly the firewall port 1. So that is also fine. And this is our L2 switch and this is our Linux machine, or you can use a Windows machine, whatever you have, you can use it. And also it is very easy to import all the images here. Let me show you one thing only, so you can do similar for the other devices. Just right click here, click node and type here FortiGate for the FortiGate image, and you can see I do have a lot of Fortinet images here. So we are working on FortiGate, so you have to select FGT FortiGate. So I do have two versions, version 7 and version 7.0.5 build. So I have used 7.0.5 build, the latest one I have. If you have another one, you can use that. So just press OK or save here. So you will see one FortiGate firewall here. You can connect the firewall respective ports to the other devices. So let's begin our configuration. For this WAN setup, you have to do little configuration. So as I said, you don't need to think much about these devices. So let me start because it will take much time as compared to others. And this is our firewall. This is our switch. So I have started all the devices at once. You can start one by one, it's on you. So meantime it's booting, let me configure the FortiGate firewall. So why I am configuring it? Because this is the virtual environment and I have to take the GUI access of this firewall from this PC, this machine. So for that I need to configure their management port in our available network. You can see here we have a port 4. You can see the port 4 is the management and port 1 is for WAN 1, port 2 is for WAN 2. So I'll make these two interfaces as a DSCP assignment port, so that your port 1 and port 2 will get IP automatically from this device, so which makes WAN 1 and WAN 2. And for the management purposes, I need to configure port 4 as earlier. In the default situation, the port 1 is only set up in the DSCP mode. Other ports are by default in a static mode. So if I have connected this port to the management port or management cloud, I do need to configure this port either statically or dynamically, so that I can take access directly through my laptop or my device. So let's begin. Let me delete and erase all these things, and let's open this firewall and let's open this device as well. So you can see this device will take much time. So meantime, first of all, I need to configure the FortiGate firewall. So the basic username and password you have to set up initially. The default username will be the admin and the password is nothing. Just hit enter and it will ask for the new password. Put the new password and hit enter. Again put the new password, and that's it. So now you have to do some basic configuration. Let me change the host name of the firewall. For the host name, you have to go the global config mode and hit enter. Set the host name firewall 1 and hit enter. And one more thing to note down, until the unless I will not hit the end command here, it will not save the configuration. So you can see current the host name is FortiGate VM64 KVM, but I have already set it to the firewall 1, and once I hit the end button, you will see the name change. Here we go. You can see it's changed to firewall 1. In a similar way, whenever you are doing any kind of configuration, you have to enter end command at the end to save the configuration. So as I said, so I have to make this port either configured statically or make it dynamically. So I'm going to make it dynamically. So let's check the available port configuration we have right now. So we have a command show system interface. Just hit enter. You can see port 1 is by default DSCP. So I need to change this port DSCP so that it can take IP automatically from my management cloud. For this, we have to go to the interface level, config system interface, hit enter. Now I am in interface. To edit the port, edit port 1, press the tab button for the next ports. Let's suppose 1 to 1 here, edit port 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, you can type here as well. Let's suppose I have to change port number 4, hit enter. Now I am in port number 4, set mode DSCP, and here we go. For this is the VM environment, so we have to allow the HTTP access as well. With the HTTP, it will take the login of this firewall. So initially we have to allow it as well. Set allow access HTTP, and I'm allowing one more command, ping. Just hit enter, and at the end press end. That's it. Now, so system interface, you will see after some time, show system interface. You can see here the mode is changed to DSCP, and we have the IP here. Now I can access this firewall GUI interface through this IP, right? So let me access this. Here we go. Here you can see, right, admin 1 2 3 later, don't show me, and here we go. So first of all, you can change the idle timeout from here. Just go to the settings so that it doesn't goes to sleep mode after some time interval. So I want to change it. Here is the idle timeout. Just make it change here from 5 to 480. So that is the maximum minutes we have. So just hit apply. So now it will not goes log out automatically until it cross 480 minutes. So now let's move on to our this part. So you can see here we only have a DSCP assignment IP in the port 4, but port 1 still we don't have IP. Why so? Because port 1 is connected to our this device, which is a pfsense WAN appliance devices. So I do need to configure this device as well, so that both ports will give you the DSCP assignment to the firewall. So here we go, this is our device. So what it is asking, so VTnet 0 is the E0 port which is connected to our WAN. VTnet 0 is WAN connected, VT1 is the E1, VTnet 2 is the E2. So I need to set up the WAN first. VTNet 0. Just hit and type nothing and hit enter, and here we go. You can see it is asking for the WAN interface confirmation. So WAN is VTNet 0, which is connected to E0. Just press Y here and you can see it's configuring your internet port, and after some time you will see the IP assignment on E0 or VTNet 0 port dynamically from our internet cloud. So do not bother about this device as much as of now, because this is just for your knowledge purpose. So here you can see VTNet 0 is already assigned a IP from the DSCP pool 192.168.111.131. So let me log in this device. Rest of the port configuration I'll do it from the GUI interface. So access this device via GUI interface. Now the username will be the admin and the password will be the pfsense in all in small letters. Just sign in. You will see one alert banner here. Just accept it, close it, and now we have to configure two more ports, E1 and E2, which is VTNet 1 and VTNet 2. So just go here, interfaces and assignment, and one internet port is available and you have to add two more ports, VTNet 1 add, and one more port, VTNet 2. So that's it. Just hit save here and it's now saved. Now you have to go to the LAN port, which is the VTNet port, and let me do some changes. So just for your understanding, make it as a E0, E1 for the description, because E0 is the VTNet 0, E1 is the VTNet 1. So I'm changing it to the E1. So we have to assign a one gateway IP, that is the static IP assignment. And what is the IP here? So I am using .24.24 for the gateway, which is configured on this WAN device, and rest they will provide the IP from this pool to this firewall, two different WAN connections, right? So 192.168.1.254 is my gateway, and what is the subnet /24, and that's it. Just hit the save button, but before hitting the save you have to enable this interface as well. So hit save and apply changes, and once you apply, in a similar way you have to configure the another port, which is our OPT0, OPT1 operational 1 port, VTNet 2. So enable this port and make it as a E2. That's it. And select here the static IP version 4, and what is the IP for this port? 192.168.2.254. So 192.168.2.224 and /24, and just click here and save, apply changes, and now both the interfaces are configured. Now you have to make this sub interfaces in the DSCP server so that it will provide the IP, right? So just go here to the services and hit the DSCP server option here. First of all, I am configuring DSCP server on E2 interface. So just go here down and provide the range. From that range, the FortiGate device will get the IP. So I will put 1 to 10. So that's our fine for us because we only have one devices. So just hit the save button here. Similarly for E1, enable the DSCP and provide the range from 1.1 to 192.168.1.10 and hit the save button. That's it. Now you can log out or close this device. Let's move on to our this GUI interface, this CLI interface of the WAN device and hit enter. Now you can see here E1 is the LAN port and VTnet 1 port, which is providing you the IP from this subnet, and E2 also from this subnet. And initially we don't popping out these two interface here. Similarly, you can check the firewall. Here you can see on the port 1 you are not getting any IP address as of now, right? But after configuration, let me check it again. Show system interface, and here you can see 192.168.1.1. so this is the IP which we are getting through the port 1. So that's the initial configuration you need to do in the firewall and the WAN appliance to make it work further. So let's move on to the firewall now. So now we have to configure the firewall, these two ports. Although I have already told port 1 is the dynamic port by default, so it already has one IP address from this range, but WAN 2 is the static port, so we have to configure this WAN port either dynamically or assign IP statically within this pool. And similarly for the port 3 we have to do some configuration. I am assuming this network, so .254 will be our gateway and configured on the port 3 so that this device can reach to the internet via this gateway. So let's do it one by one. First I'm going to configure port 1 and 2. So we have this dashboard here. Just click on the network, you will see interfaces. Hit the interfaces and click on the port 1. You have two options, either you can double click on port 1 or else just click here on the port 1 and press edit. So that will land you on the same page. So this is the edit interface page. You can edit this interface, whatever the options we have available here. Just write down the alias WAN 1 and role is the WAN role, and it's some DSCP by default, so make it manual because manual is the good practice so that it wouldn't get changed in future. So just do it manual and it will take this IP, and these are the administrative access you can apply. So I don't need much access, just HTTP for the HTTP and ping for the testing purpose. Just hit the OK button here and that's it. Similarly for the port 2, currently you can see it's not taking any IP, right? So by default it's in the static mode or a manual mode. Just hit the DSCP here and make it WAN 2 WAN and allow the ping and press it OK. So you can see the IP is not reflecting here. Just click it again, you will see it's already initialized its DORA process and it will get some IP. Here you can see. So you can either select this IP here by this way and press here. So you can write the full subnet mask like this way, or you can just write down the /24. So that would also work here. Just hit OK and that's it. Now move on to the port 3. We have to configure 10.0.1.254 port 3, which is our LAN port, and define the role as a LAN, and IP would be 10.0.1.254/24, right? And allow ping and that's it. Hit the OK button. So that's it. Now our all ports are already configured. Now we have to create a static route so that any traffic came to this device, that will throw the traffic to the port 1 or port 2, whatever we will configure in our static route. So for static route, under network we have a static routes. Create one new static route, and this is our default route, and the gateway will be 192.168.1.254. So why I am putting 254? Because I am giving the static route towards the port 1 or the WAN 1. You can see here from the WAN appliance, our gateway is 192.168.1.254 for the WAN 1 or E1 VTNet 1. So gateway will be .254. So that's why I have given this, and select the WAN 1 port here and hit OK here. So that's it. Next, you need to set up a DNS. So let me give the global DNS 8.8.8.1.1.1 and apply. That's it. Now we already configured the static route and we already configured the ports. The last thing we have to configure is the firewall policy, so that firewall has to rectify their traffic and has to do some firewalling thing, like which traffic he has to pass or which traffic he has to drop. So for that we have to create a policy which suggests firewall you have to allow the LAN traffic which is hitting on the port 3 and going outside to the internet. You have to allow that traffic. So for that, just go to the policy and objects here, firewall policy, and create a new policy. Let me give a name, LAN to WAN, and incoming interface will be LAN port 3 and outgoing is WAN 1. It's on you. If you want to move the traffic through the WAN 2, you can select WAN 2 here. So for the testing purpose or the time being, I'm using WAN 1. And source, you can select all. So in practical, in all the organization, you have to specify some source as per your requirement, but this is just for your understanding and the testing. I am using all source and all destination, and we do have a lot of other available options. You can select it from here, like which destinations you want to select for the WAN 1 and which destination you want to select for WAN 2. And I am selecting all services. Just accept this and just log all the traffic, all sessions, and hit OK. And here we go. Now we already configured all the things here in the FortiGate firewall. So let me test from the user now whether it is able to access the internet or not. So for that, just go to this user. Let me configure the IP address on this user first. Just go to the network manager and go to properties, use static IP. So what is our IP? 10.0.1.1, and the net mask will be 255.255.0 and our gateway is 254. And what is the DNS? 8.8.8 and our second DNS 1.1.1, and click OK and press connect here. This is the Linux. You can use any device as a user, Windows or any other tiny Linux. So here it is already connected. Let me check the IP assignment in the terminal mode. Config, here we go. You can see IP is already assigned. Now first of all, let me ping the gateway 10.0.1.254. So here I am able to ping the gateway which is assigned on the FortiGate firewall port number 3. So we are sure now the traffic is hitting to the firewall. Now let me check the internet, ping 8.8.8. So here you can see still it's not able to ping the internet. Why so? Because there is a catch here, or the points to note here, the traffic is hitting to the firewall. So something is wrong in the firewall, so that doesn't allow this traffic to go outside through the WAN 1, right? So let's do the trace route first from the firewall. So for the trace route or a ping, you have to use this command execute ping for ping. So you can see this device is reachable to the internet, right? So there is nothing and wrong here. So just execute ping, not ping, so trace route to the internet. Now here you can see, so what is our first hop? Our first hop is 192.168.111.2, so which is not correct, right? So it should be 192.168.1.254, because we have redirected our traffic. We have applied one static route here suggesting or pointing our all traffic should go to this resort or this gateway, right? So this something is wrong here, so we need to check. So let's go here on the firewall level. So here is one thing to catch, the interface which I have configured for the management 192.168.111.144 is having a internet access. So if you have internet access from the two available ports in our topology, this device getting internet from, let me draw it, from this way, right, and from this way. So it is getting internet from two way. Now it is getting confused where to throw the traffic. So always points to note, the interface preference is always more than any other policy or any other routes. So here we have to check the interface first and then we will check the route first. So let's move on. Here our port number 4, you can see here we have a one option available called distance. So distance is 5 here, and if you go to the static routes, you will see we have a administrative distance 10 here. So the lesser would be preferable. So you can imagine this interface has a distance 5 and this interface or a static route has a distance 10. So whichever is lesser, the traffic will follow that route. So that's why you are getting the gateway 192.168.111.2. So for that we have to change this distance of interface. We have to increase the distance of interface, or you can decrease the distance of static route. So let me increase this distance, that makes the static route distance automatically lower than this, so the traffic will move towards our WAN 1. So let me put it 15 here and okay, and now you will see the traffic starts going towards the internet. So you can see I am able to see now. Let me check the web browser. Here we go. So you can see all the logs, whatever we are doing here on the user 1 on the FortiGate firewall. So I will show you, just generate some traffic. Let me access facebook.com. and here I'm able to access the Facebook. Let me do some continuous ping here and hit the Facebook again and again so that traffic got captured here. Now move to the firewall. We have a dashboard option available here. Under the dashboard, we have some monitoring options. Just go to the FortiView session. Just hit here. You will see whatever the sessions this source creating. You will see all the session logged here. So this is our source. This is our destination. This is the DNS. They are constantly pinging their DNS or reaching out to the DNS. You can see UDP port 53 for the DNS, and I have already execute the ping, so it is for the ping. So you can see all the traffic here, right? And from FortiView source, you can see whatever the source we have or accessing this firewall, it will be logged here, right? And we have one more option to see the traffic here at the bottom, log and reports. Just click here and press the forward traffic option. You will see the source is 10.0.1.1, which is this one, and it's hitting the destination, the facebook.com. So which is, these are the destination IP for the Facebook, right? And this is for the Google DNS. So we can easily see or easily capture the traffic here in the FortiGate firewall itself. So that is it for today. Now I think you all get a overview or understanding how the user can communicate to the internet through the FortiGate firewall. If you still have any question, you can just drop down me and comment. I'm very happy to answer you guys. Thank you. Thank you for today. Bye bye. Have a great day.